Hey everyone, Dr. Clark here. I want to share with you a very important story of a patient I had in the last few months named Sherry. And she told me one day after we've been working with her that, it wasn't in my head. I had Hashimoto's the whole time. And, it's a very important story, I think, for a lot of women to hear because I think it's what's happened to her is what's happening to a lot of you. For years, going on 30 years, she had had weight problems, unable to drop the 50, 60 pounds overweight that she was, no matter what she did. I mean, she exercised like a fiend. She basically tried to starve herself a couple times, did the HCG diet, everything you can think of, but she could never get the weight off. Now, she didn't just have problems with weight. The other problems that she had, the other symptoms she had, 20-something year history of depression that would kind of cycle and get worse. So, of course, she'd been diagnosed as depressed and been taking a variety of different antidepressant medications, none of which worked, I might add. She had developed into a significant amount of anxiety. She had some fertility issues. And she'd been punishing herself for 30 years. What's wrong with me? Why don't any of these medications work? There must be something wrong with me. Am I crazy? Because a couple different times she'd been told by, I don't know if they were well-meaning or not. I'm not sure why you would tell someone this. But basically she was told, hey, you're wrong in the head. That's why you still feel this way. Or, you're cheating. You're lying. You're not really eating this way. You must be eating all this other stuff. That's why you're still gaining weight. You're lying to me. And so she was really, beat down. And a lot of the women that I see that come into my office that have low thyroid symptoms or been diagnosed hypothyroid, they've pretty much lost faith not only in the medical system, they've lost faith in themselves. And it's really crushing to see that. Someone that has, it's ruined their relationships now because they don't have any self-esteem. And it's a really sad situation. And what's infuriating about it, is that it didn't have to be that way. When I saw Sherry, first thing we did was get her tested for Hashimoto's because Hashimoto's is the most common cause of hypothyroidism. And it never ceases to amaze me what doctors don't check for it. But then I think, I understand why they don't check for it because it wouldn't make any difference to them. The medical approach to Hashimoto's is the same as the medical approach to non-Hashimoto's. You get Cytomel, you get Synthroid, that's it. They're always telling these women, there's nothing you can do about this. There's no diet changes you can make. None of this, you just got to take the medication. Well, the problem is the medication doesn't do much for a lot of these women. Their labs may look okay, but they don't feel okay. And the doctors are treating the labs, not them. And this is what happened to Sherry for 20-something years. She's still taking the medication because she was hypothyroid, but she never really was any better. Well, we got her diagnosed appropriately, got her managed and treated appropriately, and 4 months later, 6 months, I think it was about 5 to 6 months later, she had dropped 50 pounds. This is not from starving herself. This is from taking the steps necessary to get the Hashimoto's process under control. So there was definitely things you can do for it. And she's not the only one. She's one of hundreds of cases we have like that. But what really resonated for me, what rang in my head, is she said, I knew it. She said, I knew it. This was not in my head. I had Hashimoto's the whole time. And she probably did. Considering when her symptoms started, she probably did have Hashimoto's the whole time. Hashimoto's has a predilection to turn on during puberty, pregnancy, perimenopause, or when you have a very inflammatory event like an infection, or sometimes after vaccinations, or sometimes after a big psychological stress. And for her, it had kicked on when she was just hitting, I think it was around 14, 15 years of age. That's when she started to have all the original onset of all these symptoms like hair thinning, the weight gain, having to sleep a ton, constipation. And over the years, she's had a variety of problems. She's had problems conceiving, infertility, which she was blamed for basically, which is unconscionable. Her cholesterol levels were always high, even though her diet was totally immaculate, and basically she'd been she'd been branded a problem patient and a liar by all of her other doctors, and that wasn't the case. What she had was something that was undiagnosed. She had Hashimoto's, which causes so many problems in all those areas we just talked about. But the takeaway I want you to know is if you're suffering like Sherry did, it's probably not all in your head. Hashimoto's causes disturbances in the way your brain chemistry works. So you can be depressed, or you can be depressed because you feel bad. It doesn't mean that you're depressed, over here by itself, and that's why you feel bad. So I want you to work with someone that understands Hashimoto's very, very well, has a lot of experience dealing with it, and that knows how to get tested appropriately, how to manage it, how to support it, how to deal with all the immune system issues, and understand that it's a complex thing, but there is hope. And if Cherie can do it after suffering for 30 years of being mishandled, there's a lot of you out there that can also feel a lot better.